Close your eyes for a moment. Picture a moon. You're probably imagining something quiet, something cold and still and forgotten, drifting through the dark the way our own moon does. Pocked with craters, bleached by starlight, unchanged for billions of years. For a long time, that's exactly what scientists expected everywhere. Every moon in every corner of the solar system, a relic, frozen, silent, done. They were wrong, because somewhere out there, nearly 500 million miles from Earth, pressed against the vast shadow of the largest planet in existence, there is a world that refuses that fate entirely. A world that doesn't cool, doesn't rest, doesn't stop. A world that has been burning for longer than we can truly imagine. Its name is Io. Getting there means crossing a distance the mind isn't really built to hold. And as you finally close in on the Jupiter system, something shifts. Jupiter doesn't grow gradually on the horizon the way a normal destination might. It just appears, suddenly, enormously. A wall of swirling cloud and ancient storm, radiating gravity the way a furnace radiates heat. This is not a planet in any casual sense of the word. It is a presence, a dominance. Something dozens of moons circle endlessly, held captive, unable to walk away. Io is the nearest of the large ones, and the moment you lay eyes on it, something feels immediately wrong. It doesn't look like a moon. It looks like a wound. The surface is smeared in sulfur yellow, deep infected red, patches of scorched black that seem to shift and breathe in the faint light of a distant sun. And there are no craters. None at all. Not because nothing has ever struck it. Things hit Io constantly. But the surface never stays still long enough to scar. It melts. It moves. It swallows its own history, buries its wounds beneath fresh lava, and starts over. Again and again, without end. Now picture yourself standing there, actually standing on it. Look up. Jupiter fills nearly half the sky above you, monstrous and mesmerising, its storm bands curling slowly across its face like something ancient breathing in its sleep. The sheer size of it would do something to you, something pre-verbal, a fear that lives below thought, below language, somewhere deep in the oldest part of the human brain. But Io doesn't give you time to process that fear. The radiation arrives first. Jupiter's magnetic field wraps around this moon like a jaw, and it bites. A person standing here in a standard suit would absorb a fatal dose of radiation in seconds. Not minutes, seconds. The air, if you could call it that, crackles with invisible energy, and below your boots the ground is already trembling. A low, constant shudder, like something enormous turning in its sleep beneath the rock. Because Io is the most volcanically ferocious body in the entire solar system. More violent than ancient Earth, more restless than anything we have ever observed up close. The question is obvious. How? How does a moon this small, this far from the sun, sitting in the freezing dark of the outer solar system, burn this intensely? The answer has nothing to do with warmth from space. The answer is something far more visceral. It is, in a word, torture. Io is pinned between gravitational forces that will never let it go. Jupiter pulls it relentlessly from one side, enormous and unyielding. And then Europa, Ganymede. The neighbouring moons, each time their orbits align, yank it back from the other direction. Io is caught in the middle of that war, permanently. Think of bending a metal rod between your hands, back and forth. Feel the warmth building inside the metal. That heat isn't coming from outside, it's coming from resistance, from friction, from energy that has nowhere to escape. Now scale that image up to a planetary body and you begin to understand what's happening to Io. The solid rock of this moon is being squeezed and stretched and twisted by forces it has no way to resist. The ground physically rises and falls by over 100 meters every single day. Not slowly, every single day. The whole moon is flexing like something trying to breathe through a locked chest. And all of that mechanical violence converts into heat. Enormous, relentless, inescapable heat. Deep inside, the rock has long since surrendered. It is liquid. A buried ocean of magma pressing outward in every direction, searching for a crack, a vent, anything, any way out. It finds plenty. More than 400 active volcanoes scar the surface of Io. 400. That number barely lands until you try to visualize even one of them. Loki Patera, for example. A volcanic crater so wide that you could drop the state of Maryland into it and watch it disappear. And it isn't just a crater, it is a lake, a living, moving lake of liquid lava, its surface draped in a thin, dark skin of cooled rock that drifts and cracks and eventually collapses under its own weight. When that crust breaks, fresh magma surges outward across the entire lake in a wave of brilliant orange destruction. Silent from a distance, absolutely catastrophic up close. And then there are the plumes. With almost no atmosphere to slow them and weak gravity pulling them back down, Io's eruptions don't just flow, they launch. Volcanoes like Pele fire columns of sulfur and gas hundreds of miles straight into open space. Not into the sky, into space. These towering, silent fountains rise above the burning landscape, and at the top, where outer space begins in earnest, the cold hits instantly. The sulfur freezes, crystallizes, and then falls, slowly, gently, impossibly, back down to the surface. A soft rain of toxic coloured snow. Reds and yellows drifting down from above, while below the ground churns with liquid fire. Both things happening at once on the same world. But even that isn't the end of it. Io is being consumed. With every eruption, every plume tearing upward into the void, Jupiter's magnetic field sweeps through like a blade. It strips material directly off the moon. More than a ton of sulfur and oxygen torn away from Io's surface every single second. This stripped material doesn't just vanish, it gets accelerated, ionized, pulled into a glowing ring of charged plasma that encircles Jupiter entirely. Scientists call it the plasma torus, a deadly, radiant belt built from the slow dismemberment of a moon. Io is feeding the thing that is destroying it, burning itself down piece by piece to sustain the magnetic storms of its captor. There's something in that feels almost impossible to sit with. A world locked into a cycle of endless collapse and renewal, torn apart by gravity, rebuilt by heat, torn apart again. No pause, no relief, no end in sight. Not by design, not by accident, just physics running its course across billions of years, with absolutely no regard for what gets destroyed along the way. We point our telescopes outward with hope. We look for oceans, for warmth, for some quiet shoreline where life might have found its footing. And maybe it has. Maybe somewhere it has. But Io is a reminder that the universe is not, at its heart, a gentle place. For every world that might welcome you, there are others that would end you before you finished drawing your first breath. Beautiful, merciless, indifferent. Some places don't ask to be explored. They ask only one thing: that you understand what you're looking at before you get too close.